Hi everyone. If you found your way to this video, it definitely is not an accident. And I'm honored and grateful to be starting this chapter with you all, right? And so we'll see how it evolves together. My name is Sabrina, and this video is about 3 myths that I have embodied and then unlearned, rewired, and then re-embodied the correct actual truth on the spiritual path. And so I'm just going to start with the first one. And this is something that when I first started, channeling, right? We're all gifted. We all have gifts. We all have a connection to the divine. When I first started channeling, I was looking at like myself. I'm going to look at y'all. When I first started, tapping into who I really was and my soul self, my divine self, I remember making videos and talking about how, misunderstanding that evil was of the divine, right? Because if it was here, it was of the divine. And it was like this really big epiphany on my journey, and really big learning and unlearning that I had to go through to understand that God does not create evil. Like source, benevolent, pure source, like where we come from, like the divine, the all that is, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like when I talk about God, I'm talking about pure benevolent source, and from which we were all created. Our souls were created and are a part of. And that source, our source, right? Our pure benevolent source, just keep feeling called to keep saying that, does not create evil and does not create bad, does not wish bad, does not will for any of us to suffer, does not will for any of us to go through any of the hardship or the trials that we've been through, more or less. However, the pure benevolent source has gifted all of us within humanity power, right? That comes directly from source, right? And what we have done with that power, the misuse of that power, has created miscreations, has created evil, has created darkness, right? And so we are coming into a time where our collective humanity is ready and needs to, in my opinion, on some level, like we're ready and we need to. It's like all at the same time, right? To take responsibility, to have leaders that take responsibility, and to take responsibility for ourselves within our own lives where we have caused harm, where we have misused and misperceived the power that was gifted to us, and misunderstood situations, right? And not seeing like our brothers and sisters, right? And from the love, like the Christ self that they are. And two, wow, sorry, this is all just coming out to share. And then overall, like in humanity, right? Seeing where we have created these overall conflicts over, I don't even want to give it like a time frame, but it's for some reason I feel like eons, like cycles, like for whoever this is connecting with, like for the collective, for the person, that this message is for, that you're asking for this information and this information is coming through for you. It's been a humanity thing, right? I don't know why I want to say humanitarian, but it's been like a cyclic thing, right? And so we're coming to the close of that. We're coming to the era of where all of these things are being revealed so that they can be healed, right? Because there's just something to acknowledging and seeing and looking the fear or the truth in the face of what has the miscreations that automatically dispels that darkness, because we are light. We are of the divine. And so that was the first message that I felt really called to share with you all, that was like a really misbelief that had been ingrained in me from society, from other teachers, from even my own misunderstandings, that as a teacher and a student, I have come to learn and know the truth and embody the truth that there is no version of darkness that is of the divine, and that it is all like, it's all our stuff that is getting cleared. And our miscreations, so okay, that's that on that. Beautiful. Okay, so the second myth that I wanted to share, I have notes I actually wrote down, was that force. Oh, okay. So there was this big misunderstanding that I came into as a result of my experiences and trying to stop harming, right? Like, once, like, on the spiritual path, I was able to take responsibility and see, like, okay, like, I want to stop causing harm. What is causing harm? And so, like, one misunderstanding I had was thinking that force, being forceful, being firm, was not of God. And that's actually incorrect too, because force in and of itself is actually a neutral energy, a neutral form of energy. And so it's what we qualify it with, it's what we are moving with it with, that actually creates, that actually moves it into positive or negative. Okay. For some reason, I'm starting to feel like this is becoming a higher level teaching. So, if you're feeling a little bit lost, maybe you got the message you needed. But if this is like really filling your cup, and this is like, I feel like someone's like, yes, like, this is like, I'm following you, like, this is for you. Okay. And so, and I'm sorry, I'm holding my camera today. It seemed like the best angle I had. But essentially, force, let's just get to the message. So force in and of itself is not negative. So what this causes, this misbelief, this misunderstanding, is not actually. I'm sorry. There's a lot of energy coming, and the words are not catching up in time, and so it causes like a. They want me to share what it did for me. So what it did for me was that it caused a misunderstanding of actually standing my ground. I know that's very political language, but it's the best that's coming through right now. It's standing my ground in my energy, in my field, in what was true is true for me. And in owning like what is mine, right? And owning my divinity, and owning the goodness of my vessel, of my world, of my space. And what this does, thank you. What this does on the outer, when we carry these misbeliefs as collectives, is it makes it harder for us to stand our ground, right? It's like the difference with like misunderstanding pacifism, right? Like, there's a time and a place for everything, and it's not about the form, right? It's not about the form. It's about the energy behind the form, right? It's about the energetic stance we're taking. So in essence, if you find that you're in any way like trying to discount any type of form, there are certain forms that, we come to understand are absolutely not of the divine, right? A certain actions, certain behaviors that there's no way that is of the divine, but yet it is still a cry for love or help from someone, and may require us like saying, no, like, this is unacceptable, from love, in love, right? Like, not accepting. And there's a difference between like fighting back, and standing in your ground and standing your truth. And when we fight against anything, it just creates more of that, right? And I think like that's like a big myth that's happening right now, is like not understanding the energy behind our behaviors, behind our actions, and how when we go to war, okay, I'm surprised this is coming out, but this is coming out. When we go to war, we are just creating more war. So there's no such thing as like a holy war. There's no such thing as like this, like it is not of God. I'm making very broad statements, and I'm feeling a lot of people in a lot of different places. So I'm praying that this lands how it needs to land according to the divine. And there's a reason I'm channeling this. So this is for who this is for. Okay. So I'm going to keep going for us, for our collective. And so there's no such thing as, because I know you're ready to hear this, there's no such thing as war in a war consciousness, okay? So like if you're fighting back in the same energy that you're trying to stop, you're only creating it. And then the question comes, well, how do you stop it then? How do you fight without fighting? And that is the work. That is the art. That is coming from a peace consciousness, coming from a place of love, divine love, and then exuding force, right? Then pushing back, then creating space, but not necessarily fighting fire with fire. Does that make sense? But also not being passive and allowing harm to yourself, your world, your collective, anything, right? Because that's also not of God. So I'm talking about things that are very, very like paradoxical. So maybe you need to rewatch this. Maybe you have questions. Maybe there's things that, please comment, like let's talk about it, or email me or contact me. And I'm happy to have a conversation, because I think like these are the conversations that are really important right now. And so that all is connected with the message for the force, right? And that's something I had to learn in my personal life. And then now I truly embody and understand why certain actions or non-actions are necessary at different times, right? So it's really about being connected with the divine and really getting your guidance from the divine. And then even then, that in of itself was a process for me, right? Like learning where my guidance is from. And I'm still learning. Like all of this is still learning. And so I'm sorry, I'm getting excited. So I see the camera shaking. I pray like, you're getting the message. Maybe you're just listening to this. You don't have to watch it, right? Like it's just about the message. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to share, the last myth that came through was that, well, I kind of said this, but, a fear-based God doesn't exist. And I kind of feel like that kind of goes without saying with what I said, but I think it needs to be said, right? Because it's about undoing like these misbeliefs, right? And so like there's a God of fear, and that's not a real God. Like that's not real, pure, benevolent source, right? And then there's pure benevolent source, right? That the all that is. And the pure benevolent source is not judging, never judges any of us, is more neutral in reality. And that even in of itself can get convoluted and murky depending on where you are. I think in the spiritual path, it's hard because there are certain truths that are true at different times depending on where you are. And all of us are divine and all of us are unique, but we all are at different places in the path, and sharing, our knowledge, sharing our experience, sharing our what we've truly learned to help each other, right? And sometimes what someone needs is not what the other person needs. And so it's really important to learn that discernment and really just take what's for you when you're watching videos like this, and really see what lands and doesn't land and what feels good and doesn't feel good. And that's all good, like it's perfect. So, so there's no, God is not fear-based. There's no God that wants to punish us. There's no punishment that any of us have to pay. There's no, sinning. Like that's a whole nother video, a whole nother writing and teaching. But, just to really drive this point home about God and about, writing, writing, interesting. Maybe someone needs to write. I need to write. We all need to write. We can write together if you're interested. I'm going to probably be posting that, but, and hosting it, and it'd be fun. But I think like there's no, what needs to be said. I think it's all been said, which is why I have nothing left, but, to share in this moment. But yeah, so just like the discernment, right? It's just discernment. I said that. And just thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for getting to the end of the video. Let me know what you think. If you found value, if you heard something that really made you think, or really like shifted something for you, I am honored, and I pray that shift stays in the positive for you. And takes hold, right? These seeds take hold the where they're supposed to, because they're coming from so much love. So much love. I love you all so much. And yeah, may peace be in, with, and around you, family. Yeah. Bye.